Ever heard the one about the guy who thought a couple of cans of beans would get him through a zombie apocalypse? Spoiler alert, it didn't end well. Now, we're not expecting the Walking Dead to knock on our doors anytime soon, but the tale serves as a potent reminder of the importance of preparation and dispelling common myths when it comes to survival. Whether it's a natural disaster, a power outage, or an unexpected turn in life, being prepared can mean the difference between just getting by and thriving. Today we're going to debunk 10 of the most common survival myths that could potentially put you at risk. So get comfortable, grab a notepad, and let's get ready to bust some myths. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up if you're serious about surviving anything life throws your way. Let's start with a classic. Many people think a few days' worth of supplies will get them through any disaster. But is it true? Here's the reality. This myth likely started because most government agencies recommend having a 3-day supply of food and water on hand for emergencies, but that's a bare minimum, folks. It's meant to tide you over until help arrives. In a serious long-term disaster, help might not be coming for weeks or even months. Think about it. After a major earthquake or hurricane, infrastructure can be severely damaged. Roads could be impassable, power lines could be down, and basic services might be interrupted. In those situations, a few cans of beans and a gallon of water aren't going to cut it. So how long should you prepare for? Well, it's always better to be over-prepared than under-prepared. Aiming for a 2-week supply is a good start, but if you want to be really safe, consider stocking up for a month or even longer. Now, when we talk about supplies, we're not just talking about food and water. There's also hygiene items, medical supplies, tools, fuel, and more. You'll need enough to sustain you and your family for the duration. For food, focus on non-perishable items like canned goods and freeze-dried meals. Don't forget a manual can opener. For water, aim for at least 1 gallon per person per day. And remember, you'll also need water for cooking and cleaning. For hygiene, think about things like toilet paper, soap, and toothpaste. Medical supplies should include a first aid kit, prescription medications, and any other health necessities. Tools might include things like a multi-tool, duct tape, and a good quality knife. And for fuel, consider what you might need for cooking, heating, or running a generator. So remember, when it comes to supplies, think weeks, not days. Next up, the myth that being in a city during a disaster is a death sentence. But is it? The truth is, city living presents its own unique set of challenges and advantages when it comes to survival. Yes, there's higher competition for resources and greater population density, but cities also offer a wealth of resources and infrastructure not found in rural areas. Think about it, urban areas are hubs of activity with plenty of buildings and structures that can provide shelter. You've got supermarkets and stores stocked with supplies, and if you're lucky, a community of people who can band together in times of crisis. The key here is preparation. Create secure environments within your homes, strengthen your doors and windows, and always have an escape plan. Stock up on essentials and learn about your city's disaster response plans. So, city dwellers, don't despair. With the right preparation, you can survive too. Now, let's talk about the notion that the government will swoop in and save the day in a disaster. But will they? It's true that government agencies work tirelessly during emergencies, but their resources are finite and their response may not be immediate. Disasters can easily overstretch their capabilities. We saw this during Hurricane Katrina and the California wildfires. So, how do you navigate this reality? The answer lies in self-reliance and preparedness. It's crucial to have a plan and supplies in place to sustain you for at least a couple of weeks. This includes food, water, medical supplies, and tools for maintaining hygiene and safety. Don't get lulled into a false sense of security thinking that help will always be on the way. While it's a comforting thought, it's not a guarantee. Remember, the best person to rely on in a disaster is yourself. Moving on to the idea that once you're home, you're safe. But are you really? Picture this. Your house is full of supplies, but there's a big sliding glass door at the back. One zombie or even a desperate neighbor, and all your careful preparation goes out the window. Literally. It's a common myth that homes are automatically secure. But the truth is, many homes have security vulnerabilities that can be easily exploited. So how do you fortify your sanctuary? Start by reinforcing doors and windows. Use security film or even plywood to make them more resistant to break-ins. Install deadbolt locks and consider a security system. Don't forget about your garden. Trim any overgrown shrubs that could provide cover for intruders. And remember, your security is only as good as your weakest point. So don't assume your home is a fortress. Make it one. Now, let's address the belief that survival equals expensive gear. But is that the case? It's easy to think that you need a bunker full of high-tech, costly equipment to survive an apocalypse. But let me tell you something. It's a myth. Survival isn't about having the most expensive gear, it's about having the right gear. And often the right gear doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg. What's more important is planning and having the essential skills to use what you have effectively. So what should you prioritize? Start with the basics: a reliable water filter, a sturdy knife, a good quality first aid kit, and a dependable flashlight. These are affordable items that can make a significant difference in a survival situation. Don't get me wrong, having high-quality gear can be beneficial, but it's not the be-all and end-all. Remember, the best survival tool is your brain. Use it well. Next, the notion that waste disposal isn't a big deal in a disaster. But is it? Let's debunk this myth right now. In reality, managing waste is a critical part of survival. When systems break down, waste can pile up fast, leading to serious health risks. It's not just about unpleasant odors. We're talking about contamination, disease, and pests. So how do we handle this? Simple. Plan ahead. Consider composting for organic waste. It's a sustainable practice that can also enrich your survival garden. For human waste, a properly managed composting toilet can be a lifesaver. But remember, safety first. Always adhere to the guidelines for composting toilets to prevent any health risks. And for non-compostable waste, store it in heavy-duty trash bags until it can be disposed of safely. So, don't overlook waste disposal. It's a crucial part of survival. It will not only keep your environment clean, but also keep you and your loved ones safe and healthy. And now, the myth that you'll be able to call for help or catch up on the news easily during a disaster, but will you? Let's be honest, we're so used to having information at our fingertips, it's hard to imagine a world without it. But in a disaster, the usual communication networks we rely on could be overwhelmed or even down. Think about it. Cell towers can fail, internet servers can crash, and power outages can knock out home phone lines. So what's plan B? It's important to have alternative methods of communication. Portable radios can pick up emergency broadcasts, so you can stay informed even when the internet is down. Walkie-talkies can help you keep in touch with your group, even if cell service is out. And don't forget about the power of the written word. Leaving notes or signals can be a simple but effective way to communicate when technology fails. Remember, in a disaster, communication is key. Make sure you have a backup plan. Moving on to the belief that you won't need to worry about heating or cooling during a bug-in. But is that true? Well, let's get real here. Maintaining a comfortable temperature without power can be a real pickle. In the winter, you may find yourself bundling up in every piece of clothing you own, and in the summer, you might feel like you're in a slow cooker. It's not just about comfort either. Extreme temperatures can be dangerous, leading to conditions like hypothermia or heat stroke. So what's the solution? For heating, consider a wood-burning stove or propane heater. Just ensure you have proper ventilation to avoid carbon monoxide poisoning. For cooling, use natural methods like opening windows at night to let in cool air and closing them during the day to keep out the heat. Insulation is also key. Weather-stripping doors and windows can make a huge difference in keeping your space warm or cool. So remember, preparing for temperature changes is a crucial part of your bug-in plan. Next, the idea that you'll have plenty of warning before a disaster strikes. But will you? Let's face it, folks, disasters don't exactly send a save the date. Hurricanes, earthquakes, power outages, and yes, even zombie apocalypses can hit without a moment's notice. And while we all appreciate a little heads up, we can't always bank on it. That's why it's crucial to have a bug-in plan and supplies ready at all times. Think about it. When a disaster strikes, do you really want to be that person scrambling around for canned goods while everyone else is safely bunkered down? A well-prepared survival kit, complete with food, water, medical supplies, and essential tools, can be the difference between life and death. And having a detailed plan, knowing your escape routes, safe zones, and communication strategies can give you a head start when every second counts. Remember, when it comes to disasters, the time to prepare is now. Finally, the belief that going it alone is the best way to survive a disaster. But is it? Picture yourself in a scenario isolated without any support. The physical tasks of survival are daunting, yes, but the mental toll, the loneliness, it can be crushing. Now consider the alternative. A network of like-minded individuals, each with their own unique skills and resources, coming together in the face of adversity. Sounds much more appealing, doesn't it? Not only does a community provide physical support and increased resources, but also emotional support, which is equally crucial in trying times. This isn't to say that you should rely solely on others. Individual preparedness is vital. But remember, even the most well-stocked and fortified stronghold can't replace the value of human connections and teamwork in a crisis. Remember, survival is a team sport. Don't try to go it alone. So, there you have it, the top 10 myths about bugging in debunked. Let's take a quick trip down memory lane, shall we? Myth 1. The idea of only needing a few days' worth of supplies. Remember, it's better to be over-prepared than under-prepared. Aim for at least a month's worth of essentials and gradually build up from there. Myth 2. The misconception that city dwellers are doomed. Urban environments present their own challenges, yes. But with the right strategies, you can create a secure environment right in the heart of the city. Myth 3. The belief that the government will provide everything you need. Remember, self-reliance is key. Government assistance can be limited and slow to arrive in times of disaster. Myth 4. The assumption that your home is automatically safe. We learned that common security vulnerabilities exist, and it's crucial to enhance your home security to keep yourself and your loved ones safe. Myth 5. The notion that you need a lot of expensive gear. It's not about the price tag, it's about the value. Invest in essential, affordable items and build your skills. Myth 6. The idea that you don't need to worry about waste disposal. Proper waste management is crucial to avoid diseases and maintain a healthy living environment. Myth 7. The belief that communication will be easy. In times of crisis, networks can fail. Having alternative communication methods can be a lifesaver. Myth 8. The assumption that heating and cooling won't be a problem. Maintaining a comfortable temperature without power can be challenging, but with the right preparation, it's manageable. Myth 9. The idea that you'll have plenty of time to prepare. Disasters often strike without warning, so having a bug-in plan and supplies ready is essential. And finally, myth 10, the belief that you can handle it alone. Building a supportive community network can make survival more manageable and less lonely. Remember, knowledge is power. The more we debunk these myths, the better we prepare for any situation. So start preparing now. The key is to take it one step at a time. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more prepping tips and survival strategies. Share your thoughts and experiences with bugging in the comments below. What myths did we miss? Let's learn from each other.